well known to the modern age of the Vedanta Society of St. and Cultivated. These are the informal of how to take the dryness in spiritual life. You see, in spiritual life, we find time to time dry spells come into the invisible. How to cope with it? You remember when somebody came to him, the recorder of the Gospel of Swami, and mentioned about this dry feeling. He said, if you have sincerity, if you have an intense desire to reach the goal, the teacher will come to guide you. Only one thing is needful, that is sincerity. Then he told this very significant as well as small story. He said, you know, a man wanted to cross a desert. He had no shoes, he had no umbrellas, he had no water or anything he was carrying with him, but he wanted to cross the desert. An old man was living in a small cottage. So he saw this man and started his journey. So he stopped him and said, where are you going? Well, I'm going to cross this desert. Oh, no, you can't. You will die. Your both feet will be full of blisters. It will burn by the hot sand. And this scorching sun which will make you get tired. And moreover, you are not carrying any water, you will be thirsty. On the way you will die, you will never be able to reach your destination. This man said, oh no, I must cross it. I determined. This is my firm resolution. I cannot stay at home. I must go. Seeing his sincerity, this old man said, well, as we have decided to go, please come to my cottage. She took him to the cottage, gave him a pair of shoes and an umbrella, and gave him cold water and some food. And then told him, now you can go. Swami mentioned that is the Guru. The Guru gives the protection, and the student is supposed to walk through the spiritual path. The Guru will give all nourishment, all food, all shade, protection, but you will have to work. The Guru cannot walk on your behalf. Being told in such a way, people understood that what is needful in spiritual life. Dryness, it comes to everybody. You won't find a single person who did not have any dryness, dry spell in his spiritual life. Look at Vedanta. He wanted to cut his throat. Mother, I'm not seeing you. Our tradition taught us again and again. Keep your hunger on. Food will come. It is bound to come. Swami will tell us how some practical implications, practical instructions in spiritual life, how to cope with it. You see, each Swami suffers. Don't think that you don't have any struggle, we don't have any dry spell, we don't suffer. You don't think that way. We also suffer. We fight. I remember Prabuddhananda quite often told me, he used to tell me that, Swami Brahmananda, he used to tell him quite often, my boy, struggle. There is no other way. The more you will struggle, the more you will get experience. Aim also used to say, everybody can be a good captain in a calm ocean. Everybody can, pilot a big ship to the calm ocean. But if you can save your boat from tornado, from cyclone, then you are a real captain. That we want in spiritual life. Struggle will come, we have to face it. Anyhow, Swami will tell how to cope.
Sitting or standing?
No.
Made my work easy by telling it's an informal talk. That means afterward they will talk, no?
Yeah.
That's all.
They will ask questions.
So I will open the subject, begin the subject, and then we can discuss afterwards. You have the prayer that Asato Ma Sadgamaya. There we find Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. From darkness lead me to light. That is the goal and the wish of a spiritual seeker. I want light. And we often hear very glowing pictures of that. How a spiritual life is. It's all freedom. More than that, it's all joy. It's all joy. Joy, joy, joy. The Christmas carol. Joy, joy, joy. And then it appears as though they are tempting us to take up spiritual life. That also spiritual, it's a way of presentation. It's called eulogy. That means the scripture or the teacher has to praise that. Now and then he has to praise the goal and the spiritual life. But when we take up, sometimes in the beginning it is good. Novelty, until the novelty wears out, it's good. It gives some special joy. It gives, yes, I am doing something very important I am doing. But afterwards, when the novelty wears out, comes this, what we call this dryness. We thought it was all light. No, it's all dark. Actually, it's more dark. More dark. Whatever we had, some kind of interest in maybe a television, or we used to go to a movie, or social circles. More and more we had interest in that. When we come to spiritual life, it dwindles. What is there in that? What is there in that? We have lost that, and this also has not come. In between, we are in between. That is what we call usually a dry period. Whatever we had has gone. I can't go back to those things. They are too trivial. Not that they are bad or any such thing. It's too small for me, or not much of a meaning for that. Whatever I used to have meaning, now I don't have much meaning there. It is childish. Not it is bad, it is childish. That has gone, and then some new thing has not taken its place. No better substitute has been given. That is our dry spell means that. It is, we are nowhere. So we are hanging in the air. Some of you may know Trishanku. Have you heard of Trishanku? Story of Trishanku. It's simply this, I will tell you short. There was a king and he wanted to go to heaven. Heaven in this physical body, he wanted to go. So he went to some rishis. One rishi, he went. And rishi said, "Get away, it's not possible. You can't go in this body." Then afterwards, he went to the son of the rishi. "Can you do it for me?" Then he heard he had gone, he is going over the head of their father. He became very angry and then he cursed this person. "You are doing all these things, something unusual and all that. You become an ugly creature. Black, ugly. He was humiliated. There was another rishi, Vishwamitra, a rival of this. The other rishi, other ascetic, he went there. He said, "Oh, the other one, Vasishta, he did not help you go to heaven in this. I will help you, come on. I will help you with my power." So what he did, with his power, he sent him to heaven. There, the god of heaven, Indra, he saw some ugly human creature is coming here. He said, "You have no place. You have no place here." He pushed him from down. So he was coming upside down like that, with head downward and legs up. And he was shouting, "Oh Vishwamitra, help me now. You sent me up. Now I am coming down." And Vishwamitra said, "Stay there." He was coming somewhere in between there. "Stay there." Then it is said, friends of this rishi, ascetic, came and, "No, you are going too far in helping this person. Don't go that far. So let him remain there." So this rishi was kind. So he created another small heaven there, it is said. There, his all peculiar creations he made. In this human world we have horse. It is said there, that world, he created a mule. Like that going on, some in between, all in between things he created. So it is said, our psychologically, we sometimes become like that Trishanku, that king. We are upside down, somewhere in the middle, hanging like that. So neither spiritual life nor the ordinary life is there. That is what we call this dryness, dull, boredom, boring. Meditation, that's boring. And then you go and sit for the lecture, that is boring. And then go back home, that is boring. Everything is boring at that time. Boredom and monotonous, dull, monotonous boredom. We are all, as the Swami was telling, we have all experienced that. And let down, feeling of let down. And at that time, all old tendencies all come up. When we are weak, enemies come and attack us. Like that, what we thought we had transcended, what we thought we had outgrown, they all come up at that time. And self-pity, who is there like me? I am a despicable creature. All this type of despondency. It's all no use. It's all over. And we should know this comes to only spiritual seekers. It's only for sincere spiritual seekers who have been struggling, only it will come. Not to others. Others, probably if others see us at that time, say, "Why does he do like that? If he feels dry, let him go do something else. Why should he not do something else? Spiritual life is dry, take up something else. Go and play golf. It will be all right." golf it'll set right. So, but this purpose, sincere spiritual seeker finds that is no substitute. He can't find any other substitute. Substitutes he has already tried, and then he has outgrown those substitutes. These are all for spiritual seekers. For that, our teachers often tell us, a sincere spiritual seeker means he is very regular in his spiritual practices. That is the first thing. Often there are teachers, they say, if you are not practicing regularly, don't come to me. Whatever problem you have, that's a different matter. No. First you practice. Whatever has been told, just do it. Then we'll consider other things. So the simple instruction given is, go on practicing every day. Whatever has been told, whatever you have accepted to do, just do that. That is the minimum. Rain or shine. Rain or shine, you go on like that. That will create a groundwork for you. The routine practices create a groundwork. In fact, the routine practices, it's not for realization of God. Routine practices, most of the times, are meant not to allow us to go down. Just minimum. At least minimum practices. The habit should be kept up. And in this, apart from our regular prayer, meditation, all that, the scriptural study is important. I don't mean here the scholastic study of all the scriptures and all the logic and then go on arguing about things, and it's not that. Knowing some principles behind our spiritual life and God and all that, some principles behind our spiritual life. Call it, if I don't want to use that word, philosophy of spiritual life, philosophy in the ordinary sense, the principles that guide our spiritual life. That knowledge is important. That is why we have all this regular Sunday lecture and a Tuesday class, this and going on. Of course, you may say that itself is boring, what to do? You may do that. But knowing certain principles behind what we are doing, that becomes very, very essential. Otherwise, we have some grandiose ideas. The popular ideas creep in. In religion, or spiritual life, there are popular ideas and there are real ideas. Popular ideas, after 1 year I must see light. My friend saw light. That's what we talk about. Some devotees and here, I saw light. Did you see light? So such things go on, and we develop some popular ideas. Say no. We should go to some of these very standard works like the Bhagavad Gita or the Bible or books written by the mystics, the mystical tradition of different religions, mystical tradition, not the ordinary theology or some kind of philosophy, is not that, mystical tradition. We should be in touch with that. Then we know some of these things are common to everyone. We don't expect some unrealistic results from this. Should be realistic in this. How much have I done? The law of cause and effect works. How much have I done to expect all those things? What have you done? Some people used to go to Swami Brahmananda and ask, I don't have this, I don't have this. What have you done to get all those things? Have you done whatever has been told? Do it, then it will come. So expecting too much. That St. John of the Cross calls it spiritual gluttony. Spiritual gluttony. I mean, expecting delights, sweetness about it, sweet and delight and joy and uplifting expansion of consciousness, this and that, all hearing big words and then expecting that. He says, they come, but don't expect them. They come and go. What God wants is, or what is wanted is, the purity of life, strength within. Strength. Swami Vivekananda used to say, whatever may be your spiritual practice, are you becoming strong? Tell me that. Whether dry or wet, that's not the thing. Are you becoming strong? Find out. So, when we say dryness, it is not that kind of, use the slang, kick. You say something, you drink and you get a kick. You take a cup of coffee, so you get a kick. Like that, should you get a kick after meditation? Sometimes we speak in those terms. Oh, I feel uplifted. All this, St. John of the Cross, I said, that is not the thing. More purity and more going towards God. That is what we need. And then often dryness, he said informal talk, let me go at random. Say dryness comes, if that dryness pushes you towards God more and more as helpless being, that is the most desirable thing. It is not that kind of a temporary joy or some kind of an excitement inside. It is the strength that comes. Say, in dry period, I persist. That's another instruction given to us. Persist. Some Holy Mother once says, one monk went to Himalayas for spiritual practice, and he wrote a letter to Holy Mother. Wrote to a friend to ask Holy Mother, when will I realize God? And Holy Mother says, what? He's a monk, he's going there. What else will he do if not remembering God? Write to him, simply because you have gone to Rishikesh, God will not come to you. What else will he do? Let him go on with practices. Everything will come. So, it is said, it is persisting, that's all. Persist. And it will come. And then Sri Krishna comes and tells there, don't expect results. Don't expect results. There is a comment on that. After all doing that, won't there be any result? Mahatma Gandhi once said, he's a karma yogi, he said, a karma yogi is so sure whatever is the result must come. There's a law of cause and effect is there. It is working very, very strongly. The result must come. When we are persisting, corresponding result must come. But often we do something and we expect entirely a different result. I sow wheat and then I want all gold coins. How can it come? So he said, you just do it. Go on persisting. And according to this law of karma, this law of cause and effect, it must come. So, it is just a law. It is said, God's grace flows to us in many ways. This is one of the ways, this law of karma. It's great. That law is there in the cosmic scheme. If you do accordingly, it's going to come. I have attended one meeting in Vedanta Society, I heard so much. The result must come. You can't escape. Even if you say, I don't want the result afterwards, it's going to come. The law of karma is so strong, like the law of gravity. It is like that. It must come. If you follow spiritual life, the result must come. So, it is said, know some of these things. That's what the teachers say. Some of the laws operating, we should know. It's no use telling, oh, I don't know and all that. Why should you not know it? So, when we persist, the result must come. And the philosophy is talking about, especially in Vedanta, we insist on this type of spiritual life. Know some of the facts. You might not have realized, at least the conviction, when we say God, it is not something hazy somewhere outside, somewhere. This morning we were talking, something which we pay something and buy. Swami used to say, God is not like a fish or a vegetable, which you can buy by practicing this and that, all that. It's not like that. He is already there. You are already that. Thou art that. It's not something different from you. Either it is yourself or is intimately connected with you. I say, I don't know it. That doesn't matter. It is true. Have you not observed? Truth. Truth means, whether you believe it or not, it is there. That is the nature of any truth. Supposing I say, there is one television working. I don't believe in those things. That doesn't work. It is there already. Or I do believe. It doesn't affect that. Because I believe it and it will not be a better television. So truth stands on its own grounds. So God is truth, that reality. When we say God, we are talking about the reality. It doesn't depend on my belief or my disbelief, my dry period or my very interesting period. It doesn't depend on that. That is our God. By definition, it is that. This is I may not know it. These mystics say, God plays hide and seek with us. That means He is there. He has not gone anywhere. I may not be seeing Him, but He is there. This is a tremendous strength for us to do that. It is there. It's already there with me. Supposing today I want to become an Einstein, I may be disappointed. Sure, I will be. I want to become a Vivekananda, let us say. Once someone went to one of our Swami Nikhilananda, he was in New York Center, said, why don't you give a lecture like Swami Vivekananda? He replied, I am not a fool to think like that. Because Vivekananda is Vivekananda. I cannot become him. I cannot become a Jesus Christ. But our scriptures say, you can become yourself. You can become yourself. So when we say God realization, you will realize your real nature, that's all. You are not going to do something extraordinary somewhere. You can't go and jump about. Spiritual life, that jumpy type of spiritual life, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Oh, he is doing that. All sorts of psychic powers, and then all this magical type of religion and miraculous type of religion, all that, we just weed them out. So spiritual life means it's already there. I don't have to acquire it. It's my own already, my property. When we say, a child says, my mother is Means it's an already accomplished fact. I can't change that relationship at all. It's an eternal relationship. I may forget, I may be angry with my mother, I may run away, all I may do it, but it is always there. Vedanta again and again tells that relationship is always there, or the other side, thou art that. You are that, that's all. So, this philosophy, call it if you like, or these ideas have to be imprinted on our mind. Then, where is darkness? Where is dryness? When it comes, it is there, that's all. I don't know it. Simply because I don't know it, don't think it is not there. That kind of persisting in this idea, philosophy in spiritual life, is my own birthright. It's already there. You approach like that, as though you are snatching away things. Say now, someone suddenly comes, and then, like a gentleman come, and then suddenly he takes a chair or this and then goes away. His demeanor, his boldness and all that, you will think 5 times to call the police. Snatch it like that. Sri Ramakrishna and other teachers used to advise this. When you go to spiritual life, don't go in a very mild, cringing way like that. It is, you are taking your property like that. You go. Just as taking a car. You go and then open the door, garage door, and then start the car and go. With that kind of assurance. It's my own. I'm going to get it. So, with that spirit one goes, all these things are minimized. Say, dry period has come. Dry period may be, but it is there. That asserting the truth. This is the truth. My mind is playing tricks, that's all. When I call, this is another method. After all, it is the trip of the mind. Trip of the mind, that's all. And Vedanta says again and again, mind is not a part of yourself. Mind is not really a part of yourself. What is happening to the mind, don't think it is happening to you. These are all facts given by our teachers and scriptures. We simply don't consider them. Why should we not? We conveniently forget some of these important factors. They say, or in the Sri Krishna talks about this in the Bhagavatam. We talk of all sattva, rajas and tamas. My mind is a dull state now, tamasic state, all sleepy, dull, sluggish, all that. Or sometimes we say, it's very restless, or mind is impure. My mind is very impure, sinful, or ignorant. We Vedantins are not exceptions. It's all Maya. Maya is there. We are talking about stupidity in the mind, dumbness. It's all dumb. And then, sometimes mind is calm. There the question is discussed. He says, it's all with respect to mind. Know that you are separate from the mind. You are separate from the mind. Know that fact and then stand aside a little. When the dry period is there, look at the dry period. It requires some boldness. Of course, all spiritual seekers should be bold only. It's not for timid people at all. It's not bold people. It's not easy to get rid of all these childish things and then seek God and God alone. It's not easy. It is for bold people only. So, it said, look at the mind and it will pass. It will pass. Everything will pass. It will pass. Everything will pass. Do you think the dryness alone is permanent? But when there is boredom, we think it is permanent. We feel it is permanent. It's not permanent. it will go. How long will it stay? That's why when we go to our teachers with some of these problems, sometimes they will say, I'm busy, can you come tomorrow? Or will you call me back? The telephone. But the Swami he has so many things to do to receive another call, or I will call you back. Very wisely, he will not say when. Call you back. After 2-3 days, if we call, it's already gone. Once we had some experience. All of us have some experiences. Someone called, I want to see you, Swami, immediately. See, I am busy. Can you come after an hour? After an hour, I will not be feeling like this. Everything will be all right. I want to come and do it now. Because at that time, I am dying now. At that time. So, if you wait a little, it will pass. It will pass. And then at that time, we are asked to, when we are dry, one of the best remedies, it is said, company of other spiritual seekers, or holy company. There's nothing like it, according to some teachers. Anything can be achieved by it. It is contagious. Holy company is contagious. So you go there and be there in that atmosphere. Slowly, should I use that word? Vibes. Vibrations. It is used in a very ordinary sense, but I am not using the ordinary sense. These higher vibrations. If you breathe that atmosphere, slowly that darkness will go. That dark night will slowly pass. It is very imperceptible. Holy company, it said, it's imperceptible. After sometimes, everything is all right. You don't remember there was a dry period. The temporary dry period. It has somehow gone. So, this company of spiritual seekers, and then especially advanced spiritual seekers, or if you are fortunate enough to contact a knower of God, or one who has some kind of experience of God, who can say God is real. God is real. He is a fact. He is not speculation. He is not some goal somewhere. He is just a fact. Supposing a person who is struggling hard, who has given his whole life to that, as the life goal, says it's a fact. Because in dry period, doubt is one of the demons. Doubt. He says, it may be, it may not be. After doing all this, if God is unreal, if God is not there, this atheist may be right, God is dead. Who knows? Many things die, God also must be dead. So when such things come, we hear, it's real. Or we read a book like the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. There, God is real means just real. A fact of life. Once someone asked Ramakrishna, what is the proof of God's existence? Proof? God can be seen. He can be talked to. God and I took a walk the other day. And we cracked many jokes. And Swami Vivekananda asked Sri Ramakrishna, have you seen God? Yes. Yes. I see God more intensely than I see you. But who wants God? People shed jugfuls of tears for money and other things. Who weeps for God? So, if we hear such statements, we get new encouragement in this. It is true. In fact, it is those words coming from these teachers that give us encouragement and that removes this doubt. And there is another. Sri Krishna seems to say that. It is this. How much time do we have?
Go ahead.
Oh, good. You know, you might have noticed in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters. And all the chapters are called by the name Yoga. Not 1, 2, 3, 4. Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Karma Yoga. Each one is called a yoga. Have you observed the first chapter? Sometimes people skip first chapter. The great Shankaracharya starts his commentary from the 11th verse of the second chapter. That's not good. First chapter, there is a lot of meaning in the first chapter. All of you, those who have not read the first chapter, please read that. That chapter is called Yoga of Arjuna's Despondency. We may call it Yoga of Dryness. Yoga of Dryness. That means whatever condition, in whatever condition your mind is in, make it a yoga. What is yoga? Yoga is the method by which we become aware of God consciousness, by which we become united with God. Yoga means yoke. You are yoked to God, union with God. So, why don't you commune with God through dryness? Despondency, dryness, why don't you do that? It is possible. Make that dryness itself a spiritual practice. Just as japa is a spiritual practice, prayer is a spiritual practice, dryness itself is a spiritual practice. How? Some of these ways. Dry. That means I am, what do you call that? Striking the rock bottom. Strike at that time. Strike fully, that's all. Desperation. You say, the dryness, I'm desperate. Yes, desperate. Be desperate. At that time, say, that's all there is for me now. Desperation alone. Persist like that, be there. And then throw up your hands there at that time. The dryness, that's all there is for me. I can't do anything, and just drop there. I can't do anything more. If there is a God, God take care of everything. If there is no God, let go. If there is no God after, let go everything. If we do it, again, if we are asked to do as a yoga with firmness about it, then they say, there is always a response to that. Always. When you are desperate, make yourself more desperate. By your thinking and all that is useless, all thinking. The dryness, that's what Arjuna did. All that he sees afterwards, his head starts reeling, and then mouth became dry, and then he was shaking. He collapsed. And then he said, "Oh Krishna, you help me out." Here, with that desperation, just let go. See what is going to happen. Swamiji says in one place, if you are knocked down, watch how you are knocked down. Say in this, supposing say in this dryness, desperation, I am going to become a neurotic or psychotic or something like that, lose my head. Swamiji seems to say, see how you are going to lose your head. Now, a little is going, little is going, little is going. Watch it like that. When you are desperate, that is yoga. Thereby, you surrender to God more. So, St. John of the Cross, I had brought some quotations I am not going to read now. It is this, St. John of the Cross says this, sometimes we approach spiritual life with a kind of audacity, the pride, audacity, not that kind of a learner's attitude or that kind of proper humility is not there. I go like that. It's not that kind of boldness or confidence. It is a kind of flamboyant, something like that. Then ego, dryness is helpful. It will tell you where you are. It will tell you where you are. Since someone visited a lunatic asylum, a big officer, and then afterwards there was some problem, so he called the telephone. And the telephone girl, the other side, the exchanger, so she was not replying properly. He said, "Do you know who I am?" And she replied back, "I don't know who you are, but I know where you are." The lunatic asylum telephone he was doing that. So where you are, it will show where you are. The dryness will show, I thought I was like that. I thought. So it will place you in a proper place there. So some of these ideas are there. And this yoga, one is the yoga of surrender. That is the main point in spiritual life. Whatever may be the yoga, the central to yoga is that egocentricity should give place to God-centricity. When we are practicing spiritual life, we become spiritually egocentric. The dry period is that very helpful there. No, let God take over. Let Him take over. You have heard of one of our Swamis, probably Swami might have told you. One of our Swamis was not a very good driver. And he was driving and he lost control. It was going like this car. What he did, he left the steering wheel, sat cross-legged on the driver's seat like that. God, you take over. So it went here and there and it stopped. Swami Prabuddhananda. Let us not try outside. Anyway, inside we can try that. Inside, when a dryness is there, let Him take over. See, dryness is one of very egocentric state. When we are dry, when we have problems, let us watch whom are we thinking at that time. Are we thinking of others or someone? We are thinking only ourselves. Only ourselves. Am I dry? Why did I do this? Oh, that person spoke to me like that. All the time, I am so self-conscious. Dryness means a very egocentric state. A despondent is a highly egocentric state. Depressed condition is a highly egocentric state. So it said, just come out of that. Somehow you come out of that. There, another thing, especially in the modern Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda greatly stressed this. There are people outside sea. Go and do something for them. Once one young man came and asked for instructions for meditation. Oh, it's all dry, I'm not reaching anywhere. How are you practicing meditation? Oh, I go to my room, close all the windows, doors and all that. Then he said, just open the door. See outside. There are so many needy people, this and that all. Go and do something for them. Go and do something. And then you will see how you will open up. So when the dry period comes, that is one of the solutions there. Inside, I'm not able to see God, at least let me see outside. or let God go for a while. Human being, as a human being, let me go and do it. Really, a fact is, human being is not a human being. The fact is, he is God himself. You may not know it, unknowingly you have done something to God. Let us remember, this is all for spiritual seekers. You have been doing something is going on inside, in spite of dryness. So, do something. Once one devotee was relating some dry period like this going on, and problems at home, and so many things came. You know, as they say, they all come in battalions. So many things came. Nothing could be done. And during the course of the day, he had to go and then see an old person who was sick. And then he went and then talked to him and all. He came just as anyone else does. And then he comes back, all the dryness has gone. He had a good meditation, it seems, afterwards. So, this kind, somehow breaking that egocentric state, awfully break it, something like that. So, this service or doing something for others is a great help there. Or some small things, Mahatma Gandhi used to say when it comes, go and gaze at the stars. Because the dryness has come because of your smallness, you have contracted like that. See the stars, and then the distance between that star and the star, and then the size of the star. Think in a big way. So it comes. Or sometimes take a brisk walk, 3 miles brisk walk. You shake off that, somehow you should shake off that. These are all small, I think, but really, considering all this, to me it seems, this making it a yoga is the best. Somehow make it commune with God through that. Desperate, let God take care of it. Let Him take care of it. Or, God, you alone have to do it now. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do my japa afterwards. That's why sometimes we try to threaten God also. I'm not going to do it. You do whatever you like. So that is what we call, Ramanuja calls, or others also, it is complete offering ourselves. When the desperation comes, let it come. Trying all this now, you alone will take care of it. And then it is said, no one has been denied at that time help at that time. A devotee always is saying, he is sure of that. He is sure. It's just like a child is sure of mother's help. Whatever the child might have done, my mother is not going to desert me. She is going to help. Not only that, she is going to spoil me, that's true. Surely, devotees feel that. It's sure to come, because it is just there. Our Vedanta, especially Advaita Vedanta, says it's not coming from anywhere else. It is just that darkness, remove with that persistence, and then with that will power, it opens up, that awareness is there, just see it there. Let me stop here. You can talk now.
If you are welcome to ask any questions to Swami. They have no question. It seems they have no dryness.
That's it. That's it.
Heard and read that variety is very helpful in spiritual life. How much liberty can you take with your spiritual disciplines in order to thrive?
For that, one is the consultation. To consult our spiritual teachers. Along with that, there are some well-tested spiritual practices according to the scripture, according to teachers. Such practices can be safely undertaken. That is why scriptural study is very necessary. There are certain instructions given there, different practices. It is only when you go to practices like some of the Raj Yoga practice, like pranayama and all that, they are to be done under the guidance of a teacher alone. But there are other practices which can be undertaken on our own, using our reason and then a sense of balance. We can do that. And then spiritual life is an experimental science. Try it out. With an amount of discretion. That is why vichara or discrimination must be there all the time. Swamiji says, you keep that sword of discrimination under the pillow even when you are sleeping. That means our own common sense will tell us many things. Otherwise, there are well authenticated and then well proved, time-tested practices are there. We can take up. And along with that, consultation with someone who knows the job is necessary. Consultation is always helpful, along with our own reasoning and then scriptural study.
What are the ways to help remove doubt?
Shankaracharya says, doubt is like a perennial flow, like the Ganges. One is certain, we have to, until the truth is revealed, we should live with some doubts. Chidyante sarva samshaya tasmin dushte paravare. When you see the truth or the reality in big and small, then only doubt will go. Until then, doubts will be there. So, but temporarily we can clear some doubts. That is, one is our study and thinking and spiritual practices. Sometimes when we practice, say for example, this attitude of a witness, let us say. We say certain things, if you see as a witness, it will all go. Try it out. Experiments is one. It is an experimental science, as I said. Try it out. Again and again and again, try it out. Swami Brahmananda used to say, do all this. If you don't realize God, come and slap my face. So, trying it out, and then this proper study and thinking, especially for us who are living in the modern age, we need proper ideas and proper thinking. That has to be done. It's very, very necessary. Otherwise, other things will come and crowd here. Otherwise, many things we have to see now. In ordinary life, we get along with doubts. Supposing our friend, boss or someone, I don't know what he means by this or what his nature is, but I still go on working. Do we know everything about our own family members? No. There are many doubts. Hey, don't ask. Don't ask those things. But we don't say that don't ask. But certain things we don't get the answers there. at a particular level, we don't get answers. Whatever you say, we are closed to that. Only when we open up, oh yes. How often we see, we read or our teachers have told, at that time we resisted, we did not understand, we doubted. After 25 years, you say, hey, he told that, he was right. He was right anyway. So what happens? Much later we realize the answer. We are not ready to, even the answer is given, we are not ready to understand that. At that time, wherever there is doubt, St. Francis says, put faith, Shraddha. Put Shraddha there. Not that you should not reason out. Then a time comes, up to that extent only I can reason now. Afterwards I don't understand. So we will say, we will leave it for the present. That let us not try to get the answer right and now, here and now. Let us leave it for a while. This is a lifetime project, spiritual life. So I want to get the answer right now. No, can't get. Day after tomorrow, I make a research in this. I am trying to understand. That is a scriptural study we go on doing till the end of our lives. So doubts are cleared, and more doubts will come. And what I thought the answer is not the answer. Like that, many things happen. That's why spiritual life is very fascinating. Really, in one sense, there is no dryness. Always some problems, some new things come. So, we're asked to take a little sportsman spirit there. Doubts come, all right, it'll come, it'll go, again it'll come. So, trying to solve in one sense and trying to live with it, with some. Both are there in spiritual life. So what? That's not my immediate question. Supposing there is a doubt about Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that superconscious state. See, for me, sitting straight is the question now. Now, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that need not be decided right now. You can wait for 3-4 days. Now, go on, what is on hand you do. See, there are many things about which we have firm conviction. Let us do them. Doubts, let us try to solve. Let them be there for a while. Let them be there for a while. Or some of you may have some other clue to that. Do you have any? How to overcome doubts? Often when it comes to some supernatural, something which is not practical, and they say there are doubts, it's not worthwhile. As Buddha said, that arrow story, do you know? Someone was walking and he was hit by an arrow. And a friend comes and wants to pull the arrow out. He says, wait. Tell me, who shot this arrow? Was he fat or lean, black or white? And tell me what kind of arrow is this? What metal or what this? And what is the kind of poison that was there? Tell me all this. Until then I won't allow you to pull this arrow. Then Buddha says, if he has to wait for the answers, he is gone. So he says, people ask questions about creation, who created, when, and this and that, all that. By the time we answer those questions, we are gone. Our life is gone. So our life is short. So we must make the best use of that. So let there be. Who created the world? We don't know. Let us ask a computer or something like that. In the computer once it was asked a question. Who created the world? Then the answer came, see Genesis. In the Bible. See that you'll see. So, like there are many questions. unanswerable questions are there. So we leave them for the present. Other doubts, try to clear as much as possible.
Be able to see that doubts are coming down and this way. You feel it's wrong. Be able to look at it at that time. One has to place oneself in the place of an observer. And that is a little difficult for many householders. And the mind
For monks also difficult. Now, what is the speciality of householders? Others also have doubts. That is why we are talking about that question only now. We'll be up and doing in all these things. Let there be doubt, we'll fight them out. A fighting spirit, let us fight them out. There are true. And we become spiritual seekers fully believing that we are going to win. We are going to win only. There is no failure, there is no going back. We are going to win. We are going to win in this. Those who feel I may not win and all that have no place in spiritual life. That is for ordinary people. Oh, I do this, I will be unsuccessful, this and that. For spiritual seekers, we are going to do it. We are on a project or a mission. We are on a mission to rise above all this birth and death and this and that. We speak of that. We mean it. We want to do that. It is possible to. Otherwise, why should we begin at all? When we don't have that conviction that it's possible, we don't have to begin. Beginning means that we have that conviction that we are going to win. The law of karma is there. What we do, the result will come. And the grace of God is there. Grace of these teachers are there. With all this, I must win. Begin. Persist there. That is why all this to give further and further impetus, company, and then this talking, discussion, all these are done. All these are boosters.
All right, you can stop.
Thank you all for this. Each time we discuss, things become clearer and clearer.
I shall tell a small story about dryness. One of our Swami was the disciple of the Holy Mother, and he became the president and he had many disciples. Sometimes people would ask about this dryness, and he told a beautiful story. Once a great scholar, when he was teaching, he was a great scholar, but he went to a holy man, a monk, and asked him that about his problem, and told him about his problems, that I feel terribly dry inside. I have many degrees, but I have no peace of mind. And the holy man said, stay with me for some time. So he stayed, and he was studying the scriptures more and more. The more he studied, the more he feels dry. Then one day he went to take bath in the river. And when he was bathing, he saw a big fish came near the scholar and said, I am thirsty. And the scholar was thinking, how come all the time you stay in the river, in the water, and you feel thirsty? I am terribly thirsty. Then the scholar was thinking, how can a fish can be thirsty? How can a fish be thirsty? Then he said, you see, you take water through the mouth and through the gill, all the water comes out. So no water goes in your stomach. For that reason you are thirsty. So look, now you take water, open your mouth and close the gill and go upside down. Then the water will go into your stomach. Then you will be free from thirst. Then the fish said, the same lesson for you is for you. You great scholar, you feel dry, the same instruction is for you. He used to tell this story quite often. First, close and dive deep in you. All joy, all bliss will come to your life. Anyhow, we are very grateful to Swami Prabuddhananda ji to come to our center in connection with the Golden Jubilee of our society. Swami gave a talk in the morning and again in the evening. And tomorrow we shall take the Swami to sprinkle some historical places of Lincoln. And then day after tomorrow he will be back to San Francisco. So we are very happy that we are getting many Swamis in this year. It is really a joyful occasion not only to you people but for me also. As M used to say, even a monk needs the company of a monk. Holy company is very important in his spiritual life. It is. We can feel that. Sometimes I remember once a devotee asked that, show me what do you miss in this country? I said, I miss something which I cannot tell you. Tell me. And I said, we used to live in India in a monastery with many monks together. The association of other monks we miss very much. Here I live by myself. We need other monks' association. It is very important.
But there is the other side to it. When we have the company, we appreciate it all the more. It's something like a celebration when Swamis come to our centers or we go to other centers.
Last year when we were in San Francisco, we were spending 7 or 8 months together. Oh, talking and meeting together, it is something joyous occasion that we meet together time to time. It is very important. All right, and good night everybody.
Good night.